this hive is kind of interesting because it was actually, it's 2 deep brood boxes, so it was a really good strong hive, and then it swarmed. And so obviously when the hive swarms, it really reduces the strength of the hive. And so I wanted to just look at it quickly with you guys and give you some observations. Now, one thing right off the bat, it's actually, it swarmed about 3 weeks ago. And so if you look, it's actually quite full of bees. They've replenished themselves quickly. My favorite thing to do as I'm looking at hives when I'm trying to judge the population of the hive is to look at the top box and the bee population in it before I smoke the hive. And you can get a really good feel for how many bees there are in a hive as you look kind of down between the frames before you smoke it. And I want to try to show you guys here. If you look down between these frames, you can see they're actually full of bees. I mean, down between each one of these frames, you can see it's just full of bees. We've even got bees over here by this division board feeder. And so, you know, this is a hive that honestly, without even going any further, I'm gonna say is about ready for a super, even, you know, assuming they've got a queen with, you know, that's laying eggs, that's, you know, assuming they raised a new queen after they swarmed, just judging beyond the bee population, it's about ready for another box. So let's confirm that they did raise them new queen for themselves, and if they did, then based on this bee population, this one's ready for a honey super. So I'm going to pull up some of these frames and see what we've got going on. So I've got a lot of fresh nectar, which is fantastic to see. And I'm seeing some clues that they either have a queen or may have one soon. One of the biggest things I look for, and I'll adjust this so you can see it, but you can see there's fresh nectar all around the edge of this frame. Hopefully you can kind of see it shimmering in there. But in the center of this frame, they don't have anything stored. They're wide open patches of cells, that whole center area. Now there's no eggs in there, but they've got it wide open as if they're getting ready for a queen to lay. And you'll often see that in a hive when they're raising a new queen. You know, a week or so before that queen starts to lay, they'll start clearing patches in the middle of the frames in the brood nest for her to begin laying. So that's kind of a clue. I like to see that. It's not always a guarantee that they've got a queen, but it's a clue that, hey, I think they're probably gonna have a queen and she's probably gonna be laying soon. Now on the bottom of this frame, check those queen cells out. Now they're hatched, so if you kind of look at these queen cells, you can see there's a huge one. They're all empty. See, they're the hole where the queen has emerged. So I know that they raised the queen, and I know that she is out. So again, the odds are looking pretty good that we're gonna have a laying queen in this hive that swarmed. So let's proceed a little bit further. And yes, I'm seeing eggs. So yeah, so they were preparing for that new queen. You can kind of see here, look at all those empty swarm cells on the bottom of that frame. It's kind of the classic swarm cells on the bottom of a frame, but they're all empty. I mean, so they've all hatched and the bees just haven't torn them down yet. But it looks like they did successfully raise a new queen because these center frames, they don't have a lot of eggs, but you can see that she is indeed starting to lay. So I think probably in the past couple of days, really, this new queen has just begun to lay. Now it's hard to see those eggs. I mean, you got to tilt this frame so the sunlight shines right down into those cells. And I tell folks all the time, you know, if you have a hard time finding eggs, take a bunch of pictures with your smartphone or your video. Get this frame angled so the sunlight shining right down into the cells. Take those pictures, usually about 6 inches or so from the frame. Take some videos, and then you can go inside and zoom up on those pictures or video and see those eggs if you have trouble, you know, spotting eggs. So anyway, so this hive, it's really looking good. I mean, they've rebounded really well after swarming. They've got this second box pretty much full of bees. They've got a queen who's now laying eggs. So I'm going to, off the video, I'm going to add a super to this hive. I'll put a super, I'm going to feed them for another week or so, let them get started in that super, and they'll probably never miss a beat, having swarmed and recover just fine.